Hello everyone, my name is Kyler and today I'll be talking about a new popular virus known as ransomware. Now ransomware is essentially a form of blackmailing where a system or piece of technology is held hostage and a user is not allowed to proceed or continue unless they fork over some amount of money. My personal experience with this was a few years ago when it wasn't as popular, and essentially what it was a pop-up on my screen appeared and it stated that I needed to pay some form of money in order to proceed of using my computer. And if I didn't, all my data would be cleared and all my computer would be messed up. And the pop-up looked very professional and had my computer manufacturer's logo and it had all of these other um, the whole graphic was very well designed, and I definitely when I first saw this, I thought, wow, there are definitely individuals out there who may be actually willing to pay this sum of money. And I was right, and over the few years, ransomware has become one of these most popular and profitable viruses out there to date. Now, my first source, NBCnews.com, discusses one of the big reasons as to why ransomware has gained such momentum in the past few years among the cyber world. And the reason being was essentially this website called ashleymadison.com. If you don't know, it's essentially this adultery slash cheating website where consensual adults go to cheat, and all of their user data was hacked. And these cyber criminals slash hacktivists were blackmailing all the users on an individual basis, saying, we're going to release all your data, all your pictures, messaging, all of that out there unless you pay us some form of money. Now, this proved to be highly successful and one of the reasons why it has gained so much momentum. My next source is thenextweb.com. It discusses a thermostat of all things being hacked and having a piece of ransomware installed. It essentially was an IoT device, a thermostat. IoT stands for Internet of Things, so it was a mainstream internet connected device. Um, and the thermostat had some ransomware installed. Pay us 1 Bitcoin. If you don't know, that's a form of internet currency. And if you didn't pay, we would control your AC or whatever. But the fact that it's a thermostat isn't so much important as the fact that it demonstrates the future of ransomware and its influence on IoT devices. So, for example, vehicles, refrigerators, AC units, doors, everything you could imagine that will now be in the future connected to the cloud and in the internet will now has the possibility and the vulnerability of having ransomware installed. So maybe in the future, if you go out to your car one day and you're trying to power it up and it says pay us $300 or else you will not be able to your vehicle will not be able to move. This is the type of vulnerability that a lot of these IoT devices will be open to in the future. Now, next, I'm going to talk about a few statistics concerning ransomware. According to The Guardian, $300 in 2015 was the average amount of an individual that paid a ransomware virus, and that rose to around $680 just this past year. The next source was the govtech.com that stated that around 250,000 of these viruses or variants of these viruses of ransomware are released every single year. And that is why it's so important for these companies to be up to date and to be making sure that these types of viruses, the ransomware viruses, are held at the highest priority for being looked out after and being counterattacked. Now, my final source is CNN Money Source, and it discusses that around 540 companies were in the survey, and they basically revealed that 40% were hit with ransomware viruses. And of that 40%, many of these companies were willing to fork over tens of thousands of dollars in exchange for a lot of their client data and everything that they had, personal company data, to not be tampered with and be kept safe. And it proved how successful these viruses types are, that they're not only just prone to individuals, but also businesses and government agencies, where a lot of this data can be sold and they can make money off of the blackmailing, the blackmail itself. And what's crazy about this is that people are willing. There's this money dilemma, which is my response, is that when it comes to the money dilemma, it depends on the individual basis. How much are the hackers requesting? What are their demands? And then it comes to what's your current standing and reputation in the community. And then it's an individual decision based on the actual company themselves that they have to come to some consensus of, are the demands willing to be met? Do we think they'll hold up their end of the bargain and keep not have our information tampered with? And it just depends on an individual basis. But a lot of these companies also reported they don't back up their data, which is unacceptable and completely unprofessional. Um, and it's a huge problem. Thank you for watching, and I hope